right, left, right, left, right, left.
This is the story of 10 soldiers with one ambition, to fly helicopters for the army. For one would-be pilot, the dream is already over. He couldn't make the grade.
Now, we've reached a point really where we can't progress any further.
For the other 9 members of Course 354, the pressure is mounting. They've finished their basic training, now they'll start the advanced phase of the course, where they learn to fly the Army way.
Welcome to 670. What you're going to do here is face a whole bunch of different challenges. All I can say is rise to them. Every single one of you will have a hurdle on this pilot's course. Whether it's night flying, low-level map reading, tactics, I don't know, but you're all going to have one. So when it happens, I'm not going to say if, when it happens, be honest with yourself. Instructors will spot a bluffer at 100 miles.
For the first half of the course, the trainees were taught civilian flying skills by civilian instructors. But today the stakes have risen. They're now military pilots, members of 670 Squadron, and they're in the hands of military instructors. Their flight commander for the next 3 months is Captain Nick Warmby, a young instructor with a reputation for high standards.
Obviously it's going to be a culture shock for some of them coming up from basic rotary. The teaching down there to a certain extent is, and purposely so, they're almost mothered through the course, because that's the way you teach basic flying. Up here we're taking them at a grade further on, and then going to push them 4 grades further on in about the same amount of time.
Right, as we start to load you up with map reading, ETAs, diversions, and obviously radio calls, don't forget the basics, flying the aircraft, yeah?
The first trainee under Nick Warmby's gaze is Andy James. He's finding out that a more disciplined approach is now required.
Passenger ready again. Typical go, fan stop, crosswind. Mayday, mayday, 240, 240, engine failure to the north, 60 knots, coming into wind. Which field are we going for? And we're going for the green field in front. Roger. Full flare recovery. Roger. Gonna make it? Yes. Might just make it over the hedge. Start the flare, watching the NR as it rises. Is Mike good enough? Are we gonna make it? Yes.
The pressure will increase, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. A lot of it is self-induced, a lot of it is purposely induced by the instructors and the system. I think they'll enjoy it. Hopefully they'll all rise to the challenge.
And pylons, 3 fields left to right. Roger, visual the pylons.
They're all going to come across a hurdle of somewhat, and it's very interesting to see how each of them handle it. We've had everything from, some people here have left with alopecia and glandular fever, all stress-induced, which is, to us a good indication that they're not going to hack it in the real world.
The trainees are no longer treated like novices. They now have to plan their own sorties, work out their routes, and check the weather reports. The instructors give them a task and leave them to get on with it. The first task they face is instrument flying. As military pilots, they must be able to fly in bad weather without any visual reference. So they learn to use special blinkers and a screen which restrict their vision and allow them to see nothing but the instrument console.
251, report checks complete, we go around. 251, checks complete. Army 251, that's correct, contact audience top ground 300.45. 330.45, 251.
Corporal Jim Lecornu is one of the first to try instrument flying.
Test 56, clear roll, circuit clear, barrier up. Threshold wind.
The air traffic controllers at Boscombe Down are following his every move and talking him through an approach to the airfield.
Turn left 5 degrees onto north.
With his blinkers and screen, Jim can't see anything but the instruments. He doesn't know where he is or where he's going. All he can do is watch the dials and follow the instructions.
I find flying the helicopter quite difficult enough, especially accurately, and being able to do other things at the same and checking other things at the same time. Sometimes you can go into overload and then something gets missed and you cannot afford to miss anything.
1.5 miles, 450 feet, approaching minimum descent height.
On the ground, it's not impossible to get through it. It's not as difficult as it looks. But the critical point is when you're flying. I mean, I have an O-level maths, but my maths is horrendous. It really is horrendous. It's horrendous on the ground, and it's just magnified when you fly. It really is.
Having made his approach, Jim is not required to land. He overshoots the runway and heads back to Middle Wallop. This trip has gone quite well, but instrument flying is going to get a lot tougher over the next few days. For Jim and the others, the pressure is starting to bite. They're now flying 2 or 3 sorties a day, always with restricted vision. And when they're not flying, they're on the ground planning the next sortie.
Yeah, so there's not a kind of restriction, and then the brake is slack period on flying line.
They know from reputation that this is one of the most critical stages of the course. Instrument flying is a specialist skill, and those who don't pick it up quickly don't survive long.
Okay, if you'd like to put your back wings down and start scanning the instruments. Once I've cleared the circuit, I'll let you have control. Okay, sir.
You can't see anything. You concentrate on the instruments. You've got radios coming in. And it's generally hard work. And getting on the ground and then again trying to come back in and then push that sortie to one side and then start another one and replan. It's different. It's not handed to you on a plate anymore, and they're not saying to you, right, this is what we're doing or this is where we're going.
Could you speed up to 100 knots then? Otherwise it'll take forever to get in, won't it? 100 knots.
For each airfield they've got different procedures, and it's not just the actual flying of it. Like you've got, for certain approaches, you've got minimum heights you're allowed to go down to, which if you break them, then on the instrument test you fail. So it's remembering stuff like that as well, and try to fly it accurately, and try to do what your traffic are telling you, and do what your instructor's telling you.
Okay, reducing to 90 knots and coming up to 700 feet.
You can maintain 100.
Okay.
And adjust to 700.
Who's lit my Mars bar? And my biscuits. Jackpot. Just confirm nobody's seen it alright. Right, where's the courthouse?
How long ago do you know? I think he's still being delivered. Is he?
So, that one, 259 for 10 dB.
How's that?
That one was rough with rough edges. This strut gives me lots of confidence. Apparently he says the Gazelle was called the Gazelle because it's supposed to be sleek, graceful and swift. Whereas when I fly it, it's like a 3-legged donkey on a whiskey habit. So that's about as good as my debriefs get these days. And off for another debrief now. Can't wait to hear what he's got to say. The pressure comes from a lack of time. There isn't enough hours in the day. You need a 36-hour day here, to be honest.
So this unit's giving you the minimas and stuff like that for the British Army. What's the Army?
You need to know everything yesterday, and if you can't keep up with it, then you start asking questions and you start putting pressure on yourself. Consequently, that's when your flying suffers. It's when you're not performing up to the right standard That's when the enjoyment goes out the window and you realise you've got to sort of start digging deep into your reserves and start pulling something out the hat and pulling it out fast. Otherwise, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to go under.
Nightfall brings no let-up for Course 354. By day, they're instrument flying. By night, they're learning new skills. This evening, for the first time, they're going to be flying with night vision goggles, image-intensifying binoculars that attach to the helmet.
I'm back to front hand again, have I? There. Do you know that was... Yeah, that's the piece you looked for. Yeah. I knew
You hear me all right?
Yeah.
Right. Put your right hand over...
I can't, they're not at all anywhere near my eyesight.
Okay. They need to come down a bit. Yeah. How's that?
Yeah, much better.
Andy James is the first to try out the night vision goggles and get used to their strange monochrome image.
And then this one here to adjust distance between the two eyeballs. You want to be looking beyond... Can you see Danebury Hill over in the 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
If you go right 5 o'clock of that, wrong 4 o'clock, what can you see on the edge of the airfield boundary?
A glowing light.
Yeah. Reference the Yankee aircraft, 12 o'clock.
Roger.
Okay, describe the horizon over in your 2 o'clock.
From left to right, coming down from where the light is in the distance, coming down. Gently coming down till it's more or less flat.
Right, you can see a car going away in the 12 o'clock left to right. Yeah. Beyond that is the railway, and beyond that pylons. Okay, bug's gone, climbing. Positive application of power, no bug gone, so coming back on the stick to increase rate of climb. Alright.
You all of a sudden have got every minute of your day basically taken up. You're starting early and finishing later. And you can come back at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, land, get to bed by 2, have to be back by 8 to go flying again. You think, oh God, and you start complaining, but you look at it, you think, what the hell am I complaining about? I want to be an army pilot, I've got to do this work. You know, we've just got to face facts, and if you want to do it, you're going to have to crack on.
Have a look at the road just coming underneath us now. Just coming in from your right-hand side, with the houses on it. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a river.
It could be a river, I was going to say.
It is a river.
Yeah. It's really, really strange. You leave here and everything's, you know, green. And even though the sort of light levels are quite low, it was the image we got on the you know, the MVG goggles was quite good actually. I mean, it was amazing. There's no way you'd catch me at 200 foot without those things on now. I mean, that was there's something actually.
Okay, just drifting backwards slightly. And look underneath the goggles. And I want your real first reaction. Look underneath the goggles now.
You can't see Shaggle.
It's the end of the first week on the advanced phase. With their new workload, the trainees are relieved just to have got this far unscathed.
Right, just want 2 minutes of your time to talk to you about course spirit. We haven't seen any. Last night, or this morning's duty student, didn't get back to bed till 1:30. All right, because he was on one of the later night flying slots. Yet there were 4 people who could have quite easily got hold of the programs and sorted it out. Corporal Le Cornu was poring over a map, having a few problems with the planning. How many of you helped him? Exactly. Think about it over the weekend, all right? You're all in this together, you're not 9 individuals. Thanks, Staff.
I've gone with the second part of our IAF planning docs group.
Up till now, they've been individuals, and they've got one instructor, and they've got a syllabus to do, and they get on with it. Whereas now, the pressure is up for some of them, and they've got to start working together. I'm just trying to help nip a few problems in the bud so that they can, you know, get a bit of team spirit going, which hasn't been apparent so far.
The trainees have taken Nick Warmby's advice and are out on a social night with their instructors. First stop, the local bowling alley.
Did you enjoy that yesterday?
How's your school doing? We're doing well, actually. We're beating you.
Shall we look again?
We're beating you. You're nearly at the end of your... Oh, no. Oops. No, maybe not.
Hi, kid.
It's a chance for everyone to forget about flying and unwind after the demands of the first week.
Oh, I don't believe it. Here's there, Will. Just. People need to stick together and work as a course, and I think he assessed that too many people were getting too stressed and working for themselves, and it really needed somebody at this early stage to come in and say, you lot, get a grip, sort your lives out, or you know, you're going to fall apart. He's got it as well.
It's possible that we've all sort of been mulling over our own feelings about this particular phase. And I think basically what he was trying to do was get us to all pull together and talk it over amongst each other rather than go our separate ways. I'm glad he's put pressure on it.
I mean, I actually got to drink these. My toast! Gentlemen! Gentlemen! The call! Hoorah!
Into the second week of the advanced phase, and the pressure of flying days and nights is taking its toll. Corporal Marcus Locke is the first to suffer. His instrument flying is becoming less and less accurate.
Finished here about 1:10 past 1 last night. Obviously I've got to bed about 2ish in the morning. That's been up 6 o'clock this morning. On snacking.
He's experiencing problems with being able to think while he's flying, and unfortunately today he broke down that and was unable to fly the aircraft accurately whilst he was in cloud. So I'm afraid today he's failed the flight and going to have to do some more remedial training in making himself more aware and visualising what's happening to him whilst he is flying in cloud.
It's not easy. I don't think it's easy, so I'm sure a lot of other people will say it is, but I think it's hard.
Since starting on this advanced training, does it feel like things have changed a lot?
Yeah. Stress factor's gone up about 100%.
He's using probably about, or he should be using about 80% of his brain flying the aircraft and leaving some spare capacity to think about the instructions given to him from air traffic control and where he is in time and space. And unfortunately Corporal Locke now is working to almost 100% in flying the aircraft, and there's very little space left to appreciate what's happening around him.
I think I lack confidence, so I always put myself down. So that doesn't really help. So that goes, isn't it? Life's a bitch.
I think the map itself goes...
Having failed his latest sortie, Marcus will be called in to see the flight commander, Nick Warmby.
Right. Hasn't been going as well as it could have been.
Right, sir, yeah.
I've been speaking to Captain Thorne. We've given you right until the last day at the end of the week to try and sort out a few problems you've been having. Our main concerns are division of attention problems and recall. But you're not reaching those. What we're going to do is give you 5 hours flying to get you back online. Alright? Happy with that, or as happy as you can be.
Yeah.
Alright? You've got 5 hours now. That's a lot of flying. Alright?
So, great.
Cheers. Cheers, Corporal Locke.
Okay, sir. Thanks very much.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
Marcus Locke is now on review. He'll do an intensive course of instrument flying day and night. This will be his chance to catch up with the others.
Departure boarding. Okay. Yes, sir.
He knows he'll have to improve quickly to make the grade, otherwise he'll be off the course.
Nice and close, a good height and a good hover speed.
At night he doesn't need blinkers and a screen. His vision is impaired enough. For the first 150 feet he uses a landing lamp. Then it's lights off and instruments only.
You look at the instruments. From the instruments you recognise what's there and throw that around in your head for however long it takes. And that information is going to be passed on to your hands and feet, etc. to actually be able to do something about it.
All clear round to the left. Okay, sir.
I was looking at one instrument and trying to correct that one, and by the time I corrected that, the others were going. So rather than looking at all of them and going, okay, yeah, pull a bit of power, change my attitude, and then try and sort it out gradually, I was trying to get, okay, that one's done, oh no, that one's gone, oh no, that one's gone. And so I wasn't recognising it within time.
Between people and Southgate, changing source levels. 234 Portland 1001. 1001, 334.
Marcus Locke still can't master instrument flying. After 5 poor review flights, he's run out of time.
I've enjoyed all the flying. I found some of it very hard, and the instrument flying I just struggled on from the beginning. But everyone struggles on something, I suppose, but I just couldn't get over it. And it even gave me extra 5 hours to try and sort it out, but it didn't make any difference. I was sort of borderlining all the time, sort of getting browns. I've probably got browns virtually on all those flights, so I was sort of below average all the way through on instrument flying. So I just couldn't do it.
Have a seat. Take your hat off and relax. You remember right at the beginning of the course, I warned you that when it came to making a decision about, how long you were going to stay here, it fell upon my shoulders to actually make the final decision. So what we've got here this morning to tell you is that I'm going to have to suspend you from flying training. Okay, that's the bad news over first. So what I want you to do is to go away and come to terms with it, and think about what it is you want to do. And if you spent years and years in Germany, you don't want to go to Germany again, or if you have a screaming desire to go to Gibraltar, whatever it is, let us know, and it's then our job to try and negotiate with PB2 or CMRO, in your case, Infantry Manning and Records, to
I've already thought about it, actually,
get you what you want.
I've already thought.
What do you...
I want to transfer to the Army Air Corps, sir.
Yes. This is tricky.
I mean, I don't mind working on the ground. I mean, that's why
you do.
I mean, I've seen what the Army Air Corps, how it works on the ground. I've worked with quite a few Army Air Corps people from the depot, and it's definitely what I want to do. Okay. It was always my other thing in the back of my mind.
Okay.
It's transferred. I'm more than willing to work on the ground.
Right. Well, look, we'll look into that. We'll check it out with our combined Manning and Record Office, and let you know.
Sir?
Well, you'd certainly be obliged to take a ground crewman one. Do a course, and we'll have to look into this.
Okay, sir.
Thanks very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
8 months of intensive training have ended in failure for Marcus Locke. The best he can hope for now is a transfer as a ground crewman. He shares the news with Bob Weston, his old instructor from basic training.
Could you pop in and see us when you
I will
when you finish?
Yeah, I'll pop straight up as soon as I finish down the bottom.
Yeah.
And give you the unlock.
So this is on the IF stage, is it? Or
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I got 5 hours extra on review. I just wasn't improving.
Right.
I mean, there's not a lot I can do about it.
Right.
Except try my hardest, which I did, obviously.
You did. You obviously did. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I asked about whether I could be back horsed, and I asked could I have an extra 5 hours. So what I'm going to do is transfer. See what I'm transfer to the Army Air Corps.
That way you show them you've got the right attitude. We know you've got the right
I mean,
attitude.
I've got quite a lot to offer, realistically, training-wise, and so we shall see.
Would it, in future, when you're on the ground, would it not trouble you to feel that you could have been a pilot and you haven't come short? How can you handle it?
I mean, no, I can handle that. I mean, if I haven't got it, I haven't got it. As long as you clear that up in your own mind, it's all right, isn't it? And obviously, I haven't got it.
So you've got the right attitude anyway. I wish you
cheers, sir. Thanks very much.
Cheers. And do pop in and see us when.
Yeah. Well, I'm going that direction anyway. So.
Corporal Locke's request for a transfer was turned down by the Air Corps. He'll return to his old job in the infantry and then be posted on to Germany. He'll never get the chance to fly for the Army again. It's another Friday night in Andover, and the corporals from the course are out clubbing. Marcus has gone, but they're determined not to get depressed. They're here to drink and dance. Jim LeCornu lived in the same block as Marcus. He's sorry to lose a friend, but he hopes some good will come from the latest setback.
I think the speed of which Marcus went has suddenly woken everyone up and suddenly realised that, yes, there's still a long way to go and it can happen so quickly. I suppose it can have one of two effects, either drag the course apart or pull them all together. Provided everyone else gets through the IF phase, I think that in the long run it will be better for the course, as in it will bring the course closer together, definitely.
Unfortunately, everyone else does not get through this phase. Within a week, Jim LeCornu becomes the third casualty of the course. Like Marcus Locke, he couldn't cope with the demands of instrument flying. Ten soldiers started course 354 in February. 8 months later, only 7 of them remain. These 7 know that the hardest part of the course, their battlefield training, still lies ahead.